yo, I'm not in the streets because I know there's something in the streets, yo. You can't have no heart at all. Having a heart in the street,
it's true,
will get you smoked, and that's a reality. That's just reality in it. It's just not it. You know what I'm saying? I know I used to be in situations. I'm like, damn, I can't do that. It's not me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you didn't even want to evict people that were behind on their payments. You know what I mean? Earlier we were talking about, you know,
my account was yelling like, hey, Waka, stop giving money out. Like, he was like that in the beginning. I remember I hit rock bottom of my career, and I was just like done, man. I was over it. Like, I was just I felt used before, right? So I ain't have nothing. Like, I was sleeping in a hotel in a Phantom Ghost and a Bentley. I still got my Bentley. That's my old school. I love that. I'm never getting rid of that car. I probably won't get another one for another couple of years. But that's my old school. And I was sleeping in it, and he just telling like, yo, how you just sent $40,000 away? You don't even have a house to live in. How are you bonding people out? And I was like, yo, I had to tell him, like, yo, I can't help it. Like, and that moment let me know, like, yo, Waka, you bugging out, bro. You have to get selfish for yourself. You have to. And a lot of people, that's what got me to tell you earlier, like, yo, stop trying to be a good person. Yo, you are a good person. Sometimes that no, it helps the next person to get better in their life, to experience more. Because we just we're comfortable beings. When we start doing things that make us feel good and when we like it, we get comfortable. Some people just get comfortable asking you because they got access to that. Sometimes you got to cut that access off in conversation because people overuse it and they don't know they overusing it until they don't have it no more. You know what I'm saying? And then when they don't have it no more, either they realize it or they point you to blame for them being in a shittier position. So that's just here nor there. But
all the time, man. You're exactly right. All the time.
A good book.
And it's a good book. Takers don't have limits, because if I'm taking from you, like, I can take as much as you'll give, but a giver has a limit, right? Because you only got so much you can give in your time, your talent, your treasure, your money. There's only so much.
I give till I close my eyes.
Really? I'm a big giver too, but there's only so much, like this year alone, I probably give $500,000 to charity so far, like Operation Light Shine and church and stuff like that. Like, I'm really, really big on that. I believe I pay more every year to charities than I pay myself, right? So I'm like really big believer in that. But then you've got the people see stuff like that and they show up and they think that everybody's a charity case. Like we had somebody send us something this morning and they were asking for money or whatever. It's like, hey, they said, because you guys always, for my wife, so you guys always give to charity. It's like, yeah, but this is an individual person. We give to charities because we trust those people to make sure that they're making a good decision. We don't really know these folks, but people are always trying to show up and, hey, you can't, what do they say? You can't hit if you don't swing. You know what I mean? So they're always taking swings at us. But at the same time, like, I know when I give it to,
heard that.
Yeah, well, that's all sales slogan there. But, a lot of people don't understand. It's like, I'm very intentional with my giving. I have vetted the places I give to, much like the people I do business with. I've vetted them. I know the money's going to the right place and not just padding somebody's pockets or whatever the case may be, because that's a big deal to me, because I believe we're most like God when we're generous, because God gave us everything. So he's obviously the most generous thing, that God so loved the world that he gave, right? And so when I get an opportunity, I'm obviously not God and I can't be as generous as him because I don't have everything. But when I get an opportunity to show some level of generosity, I think that's the most similar personality trait that we can try to duplicate to God,
True. The God is in. You are God.
But a lot of people don't think of it that way. I like what you said about you feel your parents are Gods because they created you and them together, as one unit. I like the way that concept.
I love my parents. So it's just like, I love my mother. People don't like their parents. Like my mother, I don't care what she do. She could shoot me, stab me, rob me, pull a gun out. I don't care. She's my mother.
Really?
It is what it is.
See, I'm adopted, so I don't have that same bond. I haven't talked to my family, nobody in my family, probably 10 years.
She do it. Show love though.
Anybody give you that love? Talk to them,
What?
I don't have anything necessarily against them. I just haven't really talked to them, So
yeah,
it's just been that long, And when you're adopted, and it's kind of an awkward thing sometimes, anyway. You know what I mean? So maybe you don't know, but in my case,
I would love to hear that.
It's like I have a kid that I adopted, and I love him unconditionally, but he's way different than me. He's not better or worse. He's just different. You know what I mean? Like his thought, like I have 3 kids that are mine and one that I adopted. And his thought process is way different than the other 3 kids because he doesn't come through my DNA and genealogy to where he's downloaded those same thought patterns as, or at least 50% of his DNA with his mom, right? So the one that I adopted doesn't have any of my DNA, and he's a lot like me in some ways, but he thinks differently. You know what I mean? And so when I was first raising him, it was like, what were you thinking? You know, I had to learn how to think like him. On the flip side, the gentleman that adopted me, like, he wasn't as enlightened as you and I are, you know what I mean? So his answer was, you know, what are you thinking? And then violence, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the rule of my life. In matter of fact, I remember when I found out that I was going to prison, I had been living on the streets because I didn't want to be home anyway. And I wasn't until I showed up there, I was like, man, this might be a better situation than what I came from anyway. You know what I mean? I already exist in violence. So, you know, whatever. And I'm not a violent person. You know what I mean? Last thing I want to do is say, you know,
you don't have to be violent. If you around this shit, it's like
it's
gumbo.
Energy.
It's soup.
You know, yeah.
Shit, you a part of the gumbo.
Yeah.
You're like, shit,
You're right.
I'm around this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But you got a nonprofit for kids with no parents?
We don't, but we have a company or a nonprofit called Operation Light Shine that we donate to. We give them about $10,000 a month, actually. And
you know it'd be dope, not to cut you off, the Apex kids.
Yeah, a lot of people have reached that.
TAK.
Yeah,
the Apex kids. And why I say that, because I don't know. I'm not trying to play God, but just from our conversation, I feel like a missing factor for you is that's probably why you adopted a kid. You probably wouldn't have went that far if you had a nonprofit, just to talk to these kids that actually don't have the same thing as people that had a parent. Because having a parent, not having, you're not good or bad. Don't get it fucked up. I know motherfucker got a mother and father and still fucked up, but you just know how to connect different, like you just said. So it'll be therapeutic for you.
Yeah,
it'll actually feel way better than giving that $10,000, because that $10,000 giving a month could be in your charity. So you give your charity $10,000 a month. You could appoint board members. You could sit on the board as well, and you could be doing it now. And you could have time. It's not about giving them money. Maybe it's a whole nother experience in that. So,
yeah, no,
because look how many kids you will stop from going down that road.
True.
You know what I'm saying, man?